Speaking of money, the state and federal government are dipping into your wallet for more. Wisconsin's proposed two-year budget from the governor calls for a property tax cut, but chances are you won't be paying less in the end. Fox 11 investigates your money. Mark Leland explores the real cost to live in Wisconsin.
In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. The wisdom of noted politician Benjamin Franklin 250 years ago forgot to mention fees. More and more, the money you pay to the government is no longer called a tax.
The state of Wisconsin is a $70 billion enterprise, and it doesn't get fed by sales tax and income tax alone. There are fees all along the way from the time you fill up your tank, whether you go camping, you name it, there's some sort of additional fee or tax that's incorporated into your life.
David Steffen is a freshman Republican legislator in Madison representing part of the Green Bay area. He ran for office saying taxes are too high, they need to be cut. He didn't expect so many fees.
Basically, are fees just the new tax?
They are a somewhat more politically palatable version, aren't they?
Fees, it turns out, are easier to increase, and they don't get noticed as much. Take, for example, your cell phone bill. Sure, there's the required state sales tax, and in Brown County, the added district tax. But look closer. The phone bill comes with the Wisconsin Police and Fire Protection Fee. Odd, because the money goes to neither the police nor the fire department. It is revenue the state shares with local governments. If your family has a cell phone plan for 4, each phone is charged the fee. The cell phone bill also includes a fee for the Wisconsin Universal Service Fund that in part helps to pay for free phones for the poor. And there's a similar charge for the federal government. For a phone plan serving 4, you're paying roughly an extra $12 a month, generating millions for the state and federal governments through those added fees on just your phone.
We don't really keep track of what we're paying. I mean, to the degree that our usage goes up and down, we may be paying more some months and less other months. So to stick a small federal or state fee in there, nobody tends to notice.
Todd Berry heads up the Wisconsin Taxpayers Alliance in Madison. He does keep track of how much we pay in taxes and fees.
Usually, as a share of all the personal income in the state, the typical taxpayer is paying 10, 11 plus % of personal income in state and local taxes.
When Governor Walker announced his proposed two-year budget in February, the headline was lower property taxes. But a review by the Legislative Fiscal Bureau of the governor's plan reveals state tax and fee modifications would increase net taxes by $39.3 million, and net fees would go up $8.6 million over 2 years. Property taxes make up the largest portion of the local and state tax burden. U.S. Census figures show in 2012 it accounted for 4.3% of your personal income. When you think of taxes, individual income tax and sales tax also come to mind. But a bigger chunk of the cost to live in Wisconsin comes from tacked on little taxes and hidden fees that just pile up, accounting for 3.13% of your personal income. If you make $50,000 annually, that's another $1,565 you're paying every year. That's not taking into account the added taxes on gasoline and cigarettes.
You go to a state park, you hunt, you fish, whatever. There's going to be an annual license fee or perhaps a daily or weekly fee.
There are driver's license fees, license plate fees, dog license fees, environmental fees, boat launch fees, tire recycling fees. There are air transportation taxes, estate taxes, garbage taxes, gift taxes, and inheritance taxes. The lists go on and on.
I made a request to see the list of all fees and all taxes within the state, and that just about threw the departments for a loop because I think that list would be so extensive.
But David Steffen does see some merit to cutting taxes and making individuals pay for what they want.
Some of the expenses truly should be going directly to the people who are using that service, using that good. And I think that that's important.
Among the proposed hikes to replace general tax dollar funding, state park admissions and campground fees. Democratic State Representative Gordon Hins of Oshkosh sees it as an added tax burden.
I mean, if you're going to get a $5 property tax cut, but you're going to have to pay that money to go to a state park, it's kind of a wash. And there's a lot of things in the budget that do that.
When you add federal taxes and fees, the percentage of personal income paid soars to 30 to 35%. The total amount paid on a $50,000 income comes to more than $15,000 a year.
So the bottom line is we don't really see more money in our pockets.
The federal government, unlike state and local governments, can pretty much borrow at will to fund its expenditures.
Instead of boosting state taxes and fees even higher, it should be noted the proposed budget also calls for the hiring of 102 new auditors for the Department of Revenue. Those workers will help the state collect outstanding taxes and fees. The state projects the added enforcement to get people to pay up will generate an additional $125 million over the next 2 years, money needed to balance the budget. For Fox 11 Investigates, I'm Mark Leland.